Downtown is one of my favorite places of Halifax. I find it has a lot of history here. So one of the first banks was actually invented or came to be in Halifax, which is now CIBC, but it started by a man named Collins. And he started the first bank. He was one of the wealthiest people to come to Canada before Confederation even.
So what do you do for them?
I don't do anything for them. I'm actually a firefighter paramedic. That's what I do in real life.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yes.
You're so valuable. So what are we looking at behind you here? This beautiful...
So this is the HMCS Sackville. This was used during World War II. And it's the it's the only Flower class Corvette left in the world. So this is the only one. And this transited the Atlantic Ocean during World War II and defended cargo vessels and naval vessels during World War II against German U-boats.
Why is it docked here?
So it's docked here now as a museum piece. So it is, it's being upkept, and it's a reminder to everybody in the world who comes to visit Halifax that this was a warship, and she did a really good job. She was one of the most feared warships in the Atlantic by the Germans. She sunk a lot of German U-boats.
And it's still beautifully maintained.
Absolutely, yeah. So they painted it back to the original colors. So the blue and the gray there. And that's basically what she looked like back in World War II.
So World War II, that was be around...
1941. Okay. So it was built here in Halifax Harbor in 1941.
Oh, built here?
So, yes, yeah. So Halifax is known for shipbuilding. So the biggest shipbuilder we have in Canada on the East Coast is the Irving Shipbuilding Company. And they're responsible for building Canadian naval vessels. They've just finished a Coast Guard vessel, actually, that should be put out to sea here shortly. Fun fact, during World War II, the Germans were so afraid of our harbor and our military, they actually mined. So they put sea mines in the bay. Germans actually got right up close and mined the bay.
Could it also be like this kind of mine that we're experiencing in Iran now in the state
same.
of Hormuz?
Yes.
Okay.
So they put mines in the water, and if it would hit a mine, it would blow a vessel.
So how was Halifax able to detect those miles and then remove them?
Radar and dolphins, from my understanding.
Okay.
Used dolphins to detect mines.
Okay.
And they were able to clear the harbor out pretty quick. If you notice, we've got a few islands out here to the west or to the east of us, and they were detecting stations. There's also a major fort up on the top of the hill there that was used to house battalions of soldiers as well.
Oh, amazing. I could see that quite a number of people are still working there, like on the warship.
Yeah, so there's people up there, and they're part of the revitalization of the Sackville. So it is constantly painted, it's constantly taken care of. If you go inside of it, so you can take a tour inside of it, they have it right down to when it was in World War II. Some of the old bunkie rooms, the galley, the captain's quarters, things like that.
You mentioned some very beautiful, sites over there. Do you want to speak to that as well?
Sure, yeah. So Halifax is home to the Atlantic Fleet of the Canadian Navy, the Royal Canadian Navy. So they host a whole slew of NATO vessels. Right now, there's a really big French destroyer, and I believe there's also an American vessel there as well. And that's part of our NATO commitments. There was a French nuclear submarine that was here a few months ago as well that came to visit. So it was a very big deal. It's a very big deal, but we get a lot of them from time to time. But this strait in here is used primarily for merchant vessels.
Okay.
So the harbor is used to bring in goods from all over the world, and this is the main hub here in Halifax.
So what would you say could be the potential contribution of Halifax Harbor now that Canada is thinking of building its military strong, and not just only the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, the firefighters, trying as much as possible to invest in purity, in Canada? Do you potentially see Halifax is significant contributions to that. Your advice to Canada in terms of security investment and how to really position itself, especially in this tough time when it comes to the global turbulence that we're experiencing.
Yeah, for sure. We have a lot of Navy vessels here now already. They're just finishing working on one of our submarines as well. But, you know, I think Halifax has changed significantly, especially from Confederation to now. Yes, it used to be very military, but now, as you can see, there's a lot of tourism contributions. So people come here not to just visit, you know, Navy vessels. They come here to see the beauty that Halifax and Nova Scotia has to offer. I would say we definitely need to build on our fleet, our naval fleet for sure as Canadians. We want to make sure the defense of our country and our NATO allies are strong. And I think the Prime Minister is doing a really good job of that right now. He's investing in our future. He's investing in our security. Arctic security for sure is something that's on his list as well. So I just love Halifax because it's got kind of a mix of everything. The tourism, the history, the naval dominance that we have on the East Coast is quite substantial. We have Air Force bases all over Eastern Canada, especially in Newfoundland.
Wow.
And then as you get into Ontario as well, and Alberta. But it's so diverse right now. It really is. And in a changing world like this, we just need to be ready. And as Canadians, we definitely are, and we'll take on anybody who wants to put us down, I'll tell you that. Our elbows are up. Our elbows are up, bud.
I understand. In response to that, to the business community,
Yes.
you know, because you said now that Halifax is changing so fast,
Yes.
and it's not just only for military, but for businesses. If
Yeah.
I may go through, like, to capture side, I could see there are a lot of new high-rise buildings,
Yeah.
development going on in Halifax. Could you see the business community contributing, you know, their quota?
I mean, the business community does. This building right here, actually, this black building here on the wharf,
Okay.
it's called Boat Building.
Okay.
And the Irving Shipbuilding Company, which is the biggest shipbuilding company in Canada, actually donated money to help with the construction of this. I believe it was about $5 million that it cost to build this. Local businesses were the ones that helped contribute, as with the Canadian government as well.
So you could see like public-private partnership here.
Very much so.
And
yeah, there's a lot of corporate and private partnerships here. A lot of businesses on this dock, as you'll see, as you keep going down the wharf. A lot of private companies that do boat tours and all kinds of things.
all kinds of things. Thank you.
You're very welcome.